Okay, so this is a response video to your response video about religion and some of the limitations of the scientific method, or more like scientism, which is the philosophy of empirical science and scientific investigation. Um, Basically, you were mentioning that religion um, can't be seen as something like the Bible can't be seen in the same way you can see a physics textbook, and that's totally true. Um, but at the same time, there are some timeless things, but they're not really observable in the same means, such as, Buddhist laws of impermanence, um, the golden rule, things like that have stood the test of time and seem to be universal, but a lot of the other claims aren't, such as, you know, certain supernatural claims or mythical claims that are in each of the texts. But the problem is science has sort of deconstructed everything, picked it apart, and since it only focuses on physical exteriors, it can't really see any kind of inner meaning to things, and it's not really meant to per se. But the assumption has been that since there is no meaning that can be described on the outside of anything, since there doesn't appear to be any meaning empirically, it's just matter and energy, then that's just the way it is. They weren't able to replace that meaning, and a lot of scientists, as you mentioned, have tried to respond to that in particular ways, like maybe become Buddhists, or in another example, I guess you could say existentialists, or another one. There's no meaning to life. We'll just create our own artificial meaning, our own relative one, and then yeah, so it's basically the suck it up attitude. And even Carl Sagan has expounded this. Look, if there really is no utter, if there is no deeper meaning to the universe, and science is in favor of that, then, then yes, that's a fact we're gonna have to accept, and it's something that those who are brave enough, to accept the logical conclusions, who dare to accept that, that's good. They see that as a very positive thing in a way. It's very humbling, they say, and I mean at least Carl Sagan said this a lot. Um, to accept the reality that there is no ultimate meaning, that there is no God, that there is no religious or spiritual sense except what we have artificially created through evolution, is a humbling fact, they say. Um, it's okay that there's no inner meaning. It's okay that we've stripped everything away, because that's the way it is, and we'd rather not live in the lie of meaning and instead face the cold reality of meaninglessness. In a sense, it's not as dramatic as that, but at the same time, they have a sense of wonder and spirituality, or I guess you could say spiritualism, about their method, about the scientific method, about uncovering more truth, more external truth, learning, grasping larger and larger pictures. So, science does share that spirit with religion, I feel. Um, and then you also mentioned that any scientific investigation requires a first-person experience. If the world to science is just a bunch of third persons. It's all objective its. Um, but in order to observe that, or make that statement, or discuss this right here, you're gonna need first person. And what they say is, well, yes, but the first person is reduced into the third. But that's not necessarily it's not demonstrable, it's not provable, it's not the 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 experience, they say, of the self is epiphenomenal. It's a byproduct. It's an illusion, which ironically sounds a lot like Buddhism, but it doesn't mean the same thing. Um, so it's just an interesting paradox. They're saying they want to have this exterior third person view of reality, extensively explaining everything, but it can explain everything. So, yeah, I guess where I'm gonna stop. Make a response video if you'd like.